The timelines don't match. How could Song Joong-ki's romance with Katy Louise Saunders begin so seamlessly, so swiftly, after his highly publicized divorce from Song Hye-kyo? Or did it start even earlier? Whispers are turning into waves as netizens uncover suspicious overlaps, unearthing traces of a relationship that may have quietly bloomed before the ink on the divorce was even dry. Red Carpet Revealed takes you deep into the shadows of this timeline, where nothing is as innocent as it seems. Let's investigate, right now. While Song Joong-ki was charming viewers as a sharp-tongued lawyer in the sleek K-drama Vincenzo, far from the cameras, a whisper was beginning to circulate. That whisper has now swelled into a digital storm, one fueled not by baseless rumor, but by a growing patchwork of timestamps, sightings, and silences that speak louder than press releases ever could. This isn't just a story about love. It's a story about timing, silence, and a puzzle that fans believe doesn't quite fit. It was June 2019 when Korea's golden couple, Song Joong-ki and Song Hye-kyo, publicly announced their divorce. Just 20 months after their dreamlike wedding, everything fell apart with chilling swiftness. There were no joint statements, no photographs, just a sharp legal document submitted quietly, and the haunting line, due to differences in personality. But the silence was deafening. Fans who had once celebrated the descendants of the Sun fairy tale now found themselves in disbelief, searching for reasons. Who left first? Why did they never appear together again after the wedding? And most importantly, was someone else already waiting in the wings? Fast forward to December 2022, when Song Joong-ki introduced the world to his new partner, Katy Louise Saunders. During a press event in Singapore, she stood beside him quietly, as flashes erupted around them. No official statement was made then, but it didn't matter. The world noticed. Just weeks later, Joong-ki confirmed not only their relationship, but also their marriage, and that Katy was pregnant. The public gasped. The pacing felt too perfect, too seamless, too preloaded. That's when the digging began. One word kept resurfacing: Rome. Vincenzo, the drama that marked Song Joong-ki's triumphant return after the divorce, filmed its opening scenes in Italy in early 2020. At the time, fans had no reason to question anything. Rome was just a backdrop. Or so they thought. But several online users began to re-examine old behind-the-scenes photos, taken by fans and tourists. In one image posted on a now-archived Italian blog, Joong-ki was seen dining at a trattoria with a woman whose face was turned away, but whose hair, build, and profile strikingly resembled Katy. In another photo, someone captured the film crew resting outside a cathedral. A brunette woman, not part of the known production team, was seated beside Joong-ki. Again, no name, no context, just a face that now seems impossible to ignore. These weren't recent discoveries. They'd existed for years. But no one looked twice, until now. What's most chilling in this unfolding tale isn't what was seen. It's what wasn't. Dispatch, South Korea's notorious celebrity surveillance outlet, is famous for uncovering hidden romances. It was Dispatch who broke the news of Kim Tae-hee and Rain, of Yeon Bin and Sun Ye-jin, of Lee Sung-ji and Lee Da-eun. But in Joong-ki's case? Silence. No paparazzi shots. No dating rumors. No January 1st couple reveal. Nothing. How does someone like Song Joong-ki, an A-list actor under constant scrutiny, date, propose, and marry without a single leak? One theory is chilling in its implications. Dispatch knew, but stayed quiet. Some netizens speculate that Joong-ki's legal team negotiated silence during his divorce proceedings, potentially burying knowledge of the Katy relationship until it could be revealed on his own terms. An anonymous source, allegedly close to a former Dispatch employee, told Red Carpet Revealed there was something. They had a file, but it never went public. Not in 2019, not in 2020, not even in 2021. They were told to back off. Let's consider the timeline. June 2019. Joong-ki files for divorce. Early 2020, filming of Vincenzo begins in Italy. 2021, no public appearances with Katy, but rumors of sightings in London begin to surface. Late 2022, Katy is introduced publicly. January 2023. Marriage and pregnancy announced. Each event folds neatly into the next, with barely a pause. And that's exactly what alarms fans. Where's the grief? The emotional recovery? The gap? Unless, of course, there never was a gap to begin with. Some argue that Joong-ki's new relationship is a triumph, a fresh start after a painful split. But others view it through a colder lens, not a love story, but a carefully timed operation, rehearsed like a scene from a script. Could the man who played a ruthless consigliere in Vincenzo have orchestrated a real-life narrative where his public persona remained untouched, while the truth, whatever it was, remained hidden behind the glamour? One user on a Korean forum put it plainly: "It's not about whether he cheated. It's about how neatly he moved on. Real life doesn't work like that, unless it's been planned." When Song Joong-ki and Song Hye-kyo officially divorced in mid-2019, the public accepted the vague statement of personality differences and moved on. But for one veteran entertainment journalist, who followed the power couple for years, it was anything but clean. And now, for the first time, they're speaking out. "I knew there was something," the anonymous reporter tells Red Carpet Revealed. But at the time, no one dared to touch it. The reporter, who has covered Korea's top A-list stars for over a decade, reveals what many fans have only suspected: there were whispers, quiet, carefully contained whispers, about a woman overseas even before the ink dried on the divorce papers. In the aftermath of the 2019 divorce, Song Joong-ki remained stunningly quiet. No press tour, no emotional interviews, no clarifications. He disappeared from the spotlight, until Vincenzo launched him back to global stardom in 2021. But behind the scenes, this reporter says, there was already a name floating in private industry circles: Katy Louise Saunders. She was never mentioned publicly, not even in blind items. But some insiders knew Joong-ki was seeing someone, the journalist claims, and everyone knew she wasn't Korean. What made this silence even more eerie was the behavior of the press. "We were told not to ask, not to dig. Some of us received unofficial warnings. It wasn't direct censorship, but you felt it. You'd lose access if you crossed a certain line." When it comes to K-celebrity romances, Dispatch is always first at the crime scene, snapping covert photos, tracing dinner dates, publishing full-blown exposés. But Dispatch never touched Joong-ki and Katy. Not one headline, not one leak. That, the journalist says, was the final confirmation. If Dispatch isn't reporting it, it's not because they didn't know. It's because they chose not to. Was there a deal behind closed doors? A powerful agency pulling strings? The source doesn't speculate, but their voice grows heavier. It was an unspoken rule. Everyone backed off. Joong-ki's image needed to stay clean, especially after Vincenzo. He was being rebranded. Chapter 3. The Rome Puzzle. The rumors, once murky, gained form after fans began digging into filming schedules and locations. Joong-ki had traveled to Italy in early 2020 to shoot scenes for Vincenzo, the same time and place where Katy had been based. Even back then, some staff members noticed a woman frequently accompanying him outside of shooting hours. She wasn't part of the crew. She wasn't Korean, and no one asked. She was just called the guest, the source says. "I heard she spoke fluent Italian. People assumed she was a friend. But the way he looked at her, some of us knew it wasn't just friendship." To this day, Song Joong-ki has never addressed the timing of his relationship with Katy. Katy herself remains silent, never having given a single public statement. And the industry? Still largely silent. But for those watching from the sidelines, fans, journalists, and insiders alike, there's a lingering chill. Because when powerful people control the narrative, truth becomes a casualty of timing. The timelines don't match. The journalist says again, quietly, but it was never meant to. That's the real story. Red Carpet Revealed will continue to investigate the unseen chapters behind Korea's most guarded love stories. Because in a world of perfectly staged spotlights, it's what happens in the shadows that matters most.